All right. There we go. We did the lap thing. Good. How was your Christmas and New Year's with one? How did it go for you? I think mine did go pretty well. Like, it was very relaxing. We were in the mountains. We had snow, good food, fun family time. New Year's we came back to the city, had witnessed the beautiful fireworks. The city even got like some light show done on the two churches in front of me, and in one of like the plaza area there's like a building there, and put like basically like different like illustration and art on it. It was nice with lights, not like it wasn't painted on it, but it was like done with light shows. But yeah, no, I had a good Christmas and New Year, and now I enjoyed it. I watched Life of Brian for the first time since it's technically Christmas month. Yeah. Life of Brian, yeah, that's classic. I haven't really watched that many movies. Watched Encanto for the first time, even though that's not a Christmas movie. But I watched it with my mom because she saw like a clip of it, and she thinks that like, I forgot what the kid's name is, like the youngest one. I was about to say Alejandro, but I'm not sure I don't think that's correct. Yeah, like the youngest one. My mom thinks like that he looks like me when I was a small child, so she was like, "Oh, we gotta watch it because this also Ustream is lagging a lot on my end." I don't know what it is. I really don't know what it could be, because like yesterday on my end it looked like it was lagging a lot, but on Miss Galaxy Bun and it wasn't. So I have no idea what is going on. I don't know what it is. Really don't. While hopefully you stream like fixes itself a little bit, maybe we restart the stream, just or set it down to a lower quality, and hopefully that works. I really don't know if I can fix it, but in the meantime, while you experiment with that, I will read event perception. So here we go. What the fuck is this? Informational cognitive hazard warning. The following documentation is directly affected by an anomalous linguistic info hazard. Procedure Ptolemaic trepidation is now in effect. All unauthorized personnel will be terminated upon discovery. And here we have level 41751. Access required. Initiate post-cerebral security procedures. I'll open it. Oh, this. It's not long, but it's a decent chunk. Authorized personnel, be advised that you have been administered a Class 7 counter memetic safety mechanism code named Nymph Spear. This allows for viewing of SCP-1751 without prior knowledge of the Latin language. Please do not re-administer this mechanism without on-site medical approval, and never more than twice within a 1 hour period. Another two ketos in a row? That's we're starting with 2 ketos. That is rare. SCP-1751 is currently contained through suppression of knowledge surrounding it. As SCP-1751 is not a physical object, and due to its unique circumstances, it cannot be fully contained. Protocol Words Obfuscation is responsible for the full suppression of all media attention to SCP-1751. Foundation agents are to be... Let me actually close this as well. Foundation agents are to be embedded in every major media outlet to monitor for evidence of SCP-1751. Foundation historians reaped from universities globally are to use their influence to suppress any chance of SCP-1751's surfacing. All textbooks which mention SCP-1751 are to be confiscated and all copies destroyed. Subsequent editions are to be edited to remove all references to SCP-1751. Additionally, procedure Ptolemaic interpretation has been expanded to allow for an emergency activation system. Several Foundation low-orbit installations are equipped with a mass-release version of the Nymph Circle counter meme to be administered globally in the event of a major containment breach. It should be considered a grace period, as Nymph Circle only delays the onset of critical symptoms of SCP-1751 exposure. In the event that knowledge of SCP-1751 becomes non-containable, Class O amnestics application is authorized. SCP-1751 is a fixed point in space-time, information about which can only be perceived in Latin. SCP-1751, as it is currently understood, appears to produce this effect through a proto-memetic info-hazard mechanism. Current ongoing research has proposed that the effectiveness of a counter meme would suggest a non-memetic source of SCP-1751's anomalous effect, though the method through which SCP-1751 manifests is poorly understood. Space-time information that can only be perceived in Latin. That's why the whole like, oh yeah, if you take this medicine, you can do this. You can read this without having any knowledge about Latin. Interesting. Specifically, SCP-1751 is the entire year of AD, centered around the Mediterranean Sea. During this time, no known major historical event took place, though proximity to Nero's persecution of early Abrahamic sects has been noted. Foundation historians have put forward the idea that SCP-1751 is somehow related to the burned redacted, and the aftermath therefore based on several writings in Foundation custody recovered from the remnants of the Library of Alexandria analysis of the Dead Sea Scrolls. See excerpt excerpt 1751-A5-Delta for a relevant section from the recovered documents. When considered by any sapient language-capable organism, the thought process invariably translates into Latin whenever SCP-1751 is directly thought about. Testing with sapient non-human subjects has yielded similar results. How do you know? Oh, like robots maybe? Like AI? That makes sense. I was about to be like, what kind of animal did you test and be like, yeah, he only understands Latin now. Well, I guess some animals could do that. If some animals can understand our human language, like the words that come out of our mouth a little bit, then they will also understand it in Latin, because it would just be that is whatever word they are associating with that we use already. If it's translated into Latin, they will still associate it with the same way, I guess. If that makes sense, what I'm trying to say. This presence is in the same manner as non-anomalous multilingual perception. The subject appears to think in Latin whenever directly or indirectly thinking about SCP-1751. The effects of SCP-1751's manipulation of thought processes have included nausea, headache, loss of focus, and difficulty communicating, though these symptoms are considered a product of the subject spontaneously experiencing a class sigma shift in perception and not an additional manifestation of SCP-1751. Okay, so it's not like whatever language they were versed in becomes Latin, and they just it's just like as if like the brain was always set into Latin. No, it's just literally they think Latin, but they probably still struggle to understand it all. Prolonged exposure to SCP-1751 has resulted in the degradation of Wernicke's area in the cerebral cortex, resulting in a cessation of understanding of all language except for Latin, and a complete inability to understand language in the long term. So okay, they think Latin, but don't. The language that they used to speak before is gone. That's what it was. Not what I said before. In extreme cases, tumor growth has been observed in patients with extended exposure to SCP-1751. That is always fun. In the case of non-human long-term test subjects, varying amounts of damage and rapidity of cell death were observed, likely based on incompatibility with human linguistic structures. It is theorized that SCP-1751 rapidly deconstructs and then rebuilds neuron connections within the language centers of the human brain. Additionally, subjects who have pre-existing knowledge of the Latin language have suffered decreased symptoms in relation to the level of fluency. Well, my stepdad would be safe then. Due to the fact that... Why is my side of my head so itchy right now? Due to the fact that SCP-1751 appears to be an info hazard infection of a specific point in space-time and not simply text or some other human construct, containment of SCP-1751 has resolved around the suppression of public knowledge of it. Any sapient organism which considers SCP-1751 will experience... Which considers SCP-1751... Okay, I get it. Will experience its enormous effect regardless of location, intelligence level, local, temporal anchor point, or otherwise. And here it says... All subsequent sapient test subjects have shown 0% resistance to SCP-1751. It is not currently believed that any organism is by nature exempted from this. So it will always happen. As such, all textbooks which include SCP-1751 have been confiscated and the subsequent editions edited. 5 separate textbooks as of 2014. Suppression of knowledge regarding SCP-1751 and a deliberate disinformation campaign have served to reduce public attention of SCP-1751's specific point in time to null values. Yeah, this must be a bitch to like contain. It is already key though, and it makes sense why. It's because like it's in textbooks. It's like anybody who like thinks of this location will suddenly like imagine if anybody teaches this. They would. Well, I guess if anybody teaches this, it would only speak in Latin then. So nobody can really teach this this spot. But if somebody accidentally finds out about it, then yeah, they end up just speaking in Latin. Oh man, that's a huge gap of communication then, because like as it says, like they will have no more understanding of any other language besides Latin. So your best friends who speak, in this case, English, they will try to be like, hey, what happened to you? Why are you speaking Latin now all of a sudden? They will not understand. The person that got affected will not understand what you're saying to them or what you're asking of them. So like whoever gets affected by it could be very random. SCP-1751 presents the danger of a GH-class dead greenhouse scenario where only the most remote, media-inaccessible portions of humanity would survive. Small-scale containment breaches have been obscured in the past through acute carcinogen application and counterintelligence operation. Info hazards are crazy. They're always nuts, right? Info hazards are always like the most problematic when it comes to like containing them. Like with like SCPs are like physically dangerous. Yeah, they're a massive pain in the ass to contain, and if they were breached, it would be hell on earth. But I feel like a monster is just like yeah, like that's one thing, but like that the thing that like happens to people that cannot be explained at all is probably harder to erase out of history, because like a monster, like there's so much myth and urban legends that like if a monster walked out, like yes, people will freak out and be like, I can't believe this is real, but at the same time there's gonna be a bunch of people who will be like, oh, I always knew this was a thing. I'm finally glad you all see the same thing as I do. But info hazards is like nobody expects that. Nobody out there is gonna be like, what? Nobody's gonna have an urban legend about like, what if there's a place, if you think about it, your whole brain just decides to go into Latin mode. Like that's not a thing. That would be so much more difficult to just fix. Addendum 1751-009-A56. Interviewed D493905. Interviewer Dr. Malfec. Interview with D493945 after approximately 7 hours of exposure to SCP-1751. D493905 has displayed the inability to speak in any language but the last of 2 hours. Bold text indicated speech in English, all other speeches in Latin. Is that yeah. Is that the reason why they have a medication that allows you to understand Latin? Because like you had to talk to people that only spoke Latin. Begin log. This is a weird way to show time. Like, why is there like one? Is it supposed to be like 12:30? GMT on. Dr. Malfic. Please state your internal identification designation. D593905. You've been exposed to SCP-1751 a cumulative 3 hours now. How do you feel? Can I go back to my room yet? Please answer the question. My head is pounding and I haven't been able to keep anything down. Happy? Can I go? Please read from this excerpt D493905. At this point, Dr. Malfic slides a copy of Lewis Carroll's poem Jabberwocky across the table to D493905, who recites it in Latin, words not currently recognized in English or translated clearly and without pause by D493905. To camera, subject appears incapable of even reciting in English. In addition, SCP-1751's effects do not appear to be contingent on individual language constructs such as inappropriate words. D493905. How do you feel about working with SCP-1751? I can't stop thinking about it. The more I think about it, the more my head pounds, Doc. And we have a footnote here that says, translation of abbreviated words and colloquialism with no known Latin equivalent are spoken as if unabbreviated or translated to the best approximate representation when affected by SCP-1751's anomalous effect. But I don't really mind it, I suppose. Better than some of the other things I've seen around here. Can I go now? Very well. Please report at 0800 tomorrow for routine testing. And log 1235 47 GMT. Close statement. It has been theorized that due to the unique nature of D-class personnel environment, it is difficult for them to separate themselves from being a test subject, which causes continual thought of the project they are involved with. Due to D493905's continual consideration of SCP-1751, his condition has worsened more rapidly than expected, and he is unable to speak in any language except Latin. Additionally, SCP-1751 was discovered to be non-reliant on publicly decided language structures, even affecting Carroll's Jabberwocky, which contains many invented words. Oh, okay, yeah. Addendum dash 033 dash 0065. Interviewed D493905 and Dr. Malfic again. Okay, the same group. D493905 has been exposed to SCP-1751 for a total of 47 cumulative hours. Oh. You heard of military time, now get ready for pacifism time. It is really a weird way to read the time. Like, military time would just be it would be just 1230. Or 1230. But that is a weird way to read time. So now we have 47 hours. Despite his early rapid onset of symptoms, he has proven unusually resistant to complete axiomatic decomposition due to SCP-1751's anomalous effects. Man, I wish I had a fire on right now. I had a fire on before today, but now I don't anymore, and I can feel the cold coming back. Which has made him an invaluable research asset. No other test subject has survived more than 30 hours. Begin log 1421 25. I am so confused how to read this time. I'm telling you what. Is this? Is it supposed to be? Is it supposed to be 1421? Is this supposed to be the hour and this is the minutes? And then we have the seconds and milliseconds. I'm so confused. GMT. How are you feeling, D493905? Grunts, he's holding his head. We prescribed you pain medication. Is it not effective? They stopped working. Has the pain intensified? Yes. Is that your only new symptom? have had bad dreams. What? Can you elaborate? I've been having nightmares, mostly of burning to death, always in some ancient-looking place. Pillars and torches, like Nero's end, where everything, the whole room was set on fire. We prescribed some heavy sleep medication. Is that all, or D493905? Oh, you're right. D493095. Man, that's so unnecessary to ask. Like, for like asking them if they're alright, you have to say the whole code. Oh, you're right. D49303905. Talk to me. Talk to me, D493905. Hey, something happened to D493905. Get some help for D4. You know what I mean? Like, it's so just. Man, that's the only thing about the D class, right? It's the fact that I have to have so many numbers in it. At this point, D493905 appears to convulse in a manner consistent with a grand mal seizure. Oh boy. Amabo Tunisi incendias me. Following his final vocalization, D493905 continued to convulse and scream for 4 minutes and 17 seconds before dying. Autopsy revealed damage consistent with SCP-1751 symptoms, as well as evidence of a very large burst aneurysm within Wernick's area of his brain. Ooh, the tumor. And log, whatever that fucking time is. Closing statement, all attempts to include a translation of D493905's final words with SCP-1751 documentation have resulted in failure. Due to SCP-1751's enormous effect, translating the excerpt even though the implemented calamimetic ninth circle. In all cases, as soon as an isolated translation is linked in any way to SCP-1751, it invariably becomes inexpressible in any language except for Latin. No personnel with knowledge of SCP-1751 are known to be able to understand its meaning. This is going to be impossible to make a thumbnail about. Excerpt -A5 Delta. And the gypsy woman cried to her gods to save her burned kin, her children, bubbling at her feet. But man have no ire like the gods, who took offense with her weakness, took it as an affront, and in their vanity, their splitting grins, they damned her shame to the overflows of time, and snatched her dying breath, nailing it to the maleficent clock, so that all of man might remember, understand, and revel in her pain. That's why the tumor and the pain and everything, because they experiencing the pain that this woman is going through, which is pretty messed up. She just asked for like something to, like, you know, she's just trying to ask for a salvation, or like, you know, some sort of help for her children, her kin. And the gods were like, you asking us, the gods, for a favor? And then ever since then, now people are fucked. Just make the thumbnail the title in Latin. Oh, you mean event perception? Perhaps, yeah. But that's not. Oh, that's an idea. It's an idea. I'll think about that. It makes the most sense though. I could also make like a thumbnail like a hill, where like like somebody was like begging the gods for, like, I could have a picture of Rome burning. That's technically what it is. It's part of what the story is. It's part of what happened. Rome burned, and this woman was like, "Hey, please save us." And the gods were like, "No." Yeah. Never ask the gods if you can potentially save somebody who's dear to you. Never. Even the nicest of gods might screw you over. That's a lie, of course. There's a lot of nice gods in mythologies, but a lot of assholes as well.